Hello dear viewers, here's a new video that I will please you on my channel. I hope you like my story and how I told it to you. Without further ado, let's start this incredible series facing an unbeatable disaster and the risk of making a terrible decision. If I could do it all over again, would you go back in time? What would you do? We find the protagonist with a knife in front of cattle. The people around him don't know what's wrong with him. He is the second son of the Shou family. These cows belong to the old Shou family and are going to be sacrificed. He usually treats those animals very well. What's wrong with him today? Is he going crazy? The protagonist is going to kill them, but he's stopped by a girl. Even if you kill the cows, the price of the bride won't be more than 100,000. There's no way she'll marry you. Stop dreaming, she says to him. The young master already promised to marry me, 200,000 as a dowry, plus a car. Imagine that, she continues. The young master Lin knows the background of the Shaolin family, and if you don't have the family's cow, what else can you do? You can't do that, Shou, she warns. Listen to what the girl says. Don't kill the cow, it's not worth it, agrees Aunt Minger. I'll introduce you to another girl. There are so many single girls in this village, she adds. Are you done talking? Get lost if you have nothing else to say. You're just getting in my way of what I'm doing, the protagonist replies, annoyed. This girl will get angry. He's really an idiot and a dog. He shouldn't come here and tell her anything and try to persuade her, the girl thinks. At that moment, a person comes walking towards the protagonist. Second son, what are you doing? If you have a problem, let's talk. Why are you killing a cow? He asks. Put the knife down, please. These two people are his respective parents. The protagonist can't even speak. He's just excited to see them again. It's okay, Dad, Mom. I'll protect you this time, I promise. And my older brother and younger sister, says the protagonist. The parents don't understand what he's referring to. What are you talking about? What do you mean, protect us? They ask, confused. At this moment, the protagonist clarifies that he's not crazy. These cows need to be sacrificed for reasons I can't explain right now, but if you believe me, don't stop me, he pleads. The father lowers his gaze and takes the knife. He doesn't know why he wants to sacrifice the cattle, but he knows that the protagonist is a university student and certainly knows more than they do. So, let's go. Your father will help you kill this cattle, he says. The lady tells the mother of the protagonist to stop him, but that her family is crazy. She defends him, saying that the crazy one is Lady Viaja de Crepita. She will go and kill the cattle with her family. People murmur because this old Shou family is so crazy. No wonder the second son of the Shou family was abandoned by the Li family girl who dares to take him if he's crazy, they think. The protagonist checks his phone. He doesn't have much time left, less than 4 hours. He needs to hurry. So he asks 3 people to help him sacrifice the cattle that are there. He offers $500 per man. He immediately makes a call to inform that the cattle are ready. His entire family is up for sale, all the cattle he has. He can take half the market price. They'll give him a discount if he sells everything. After a while, the parents explain that they'll lose a lot of money if they do this, but the protagonist indicates that he knows they're confused and that it won't take long for them to understand what he's talking about. For now, let's return home before coming back. No matter what happens outside, don't open the iron door and don't go anywhere, he advises them. My son never makes mistakes and we believe in him. All we can do is support him, the parents say. The protagonist shouts before leaving, remember what I told you, close all the doors and windows of the house. No matter what happens, don't go out. The protagonist is on his way. There are 2 hours left. The apocalypse will be upon us. First of all, the livestock turns into brutal and bloodthirsty beasts, attacking everything in sight. Shortly after, the bitten humans begin to show the same symptoms. They lose their fear of pain and crave fresh flesh and blood, but only if they are bitten or injured. Infection is inevitable. After a month, the number of infections had halved worldwide. There was no pure land left in the world. Just a year later, there were fewer than 1 million human survivors. His previous life is speechless in the face of this sudden disaster. Mom, dad, older brother, little sister. He couldn't protect any of them. Though he doesn't know the reason for his rebirth, he can do everything again. He won't let the tragedy repeat. He bought many tools in the village, a diesel generator and a sufficient amount of diesel, all sorts of cables, flashlights, nylon ropes, batteries, and various defense tools such as saws and hatchets, among others. He also obtained various emergency medicines from the pharmacy, like painkillers, antibiotics, and elastic bandages, among other things. He took everything. The final and most important item is gunpowder, the only way to take the initiative in the fight. Having sufficient firepower is essential. A sufficient amount of gunpowder can even turn one into a stronghold. He attended a meeting with a stranger who informed him that someone came to do business with him. He didn't know who it was, but he was surprised to find out it was his secretary's ex-boyfriend. It was a truly unexpected surprise. He really came to this place for business. There are $100,000 in cash in the bag. He doesn't let him speak and laughs in his face. He's truly in love with this girl, Liquin. He said he wanted to buy her for $100,000. Do you really understand? For $100,000, sell me the black powder. Are you kidding me? We don't do illegal transactions. He is sure. He doesn't know why, but last December, Forest Chan Fame Factory burnt a woman in a blue dress. She might know better. No, now his nerves are acting up. True, he knows who he's talking about. Link, $100,000, sell me the black powder. That way, we both have a knife in our hands, and we won't have to worry about him talking nonsense. How about that? With this confession, he starts to sweat cold. He asks about the inventory. Is the one corresponding to this season still bought? It has been wet lately. Maybe some of the gunpowder got wet. He has to get rid of it. She has to arrange to dispose of it. Let the college students pick up the unwanted stuff. The girl goes to look for the gunpowder as she passes by him. He remembers that he will protect those he can, as he has always said. This annoys him. He heard that he sold all his cattle. He's gone crazy. But the local person told him that he will explain everything later. He must trust him. She hasn't returned. That's right. Xiaomi and her sister should already be home in his past life. But since certain things have changed, he must go and look for her immediately. He instructs his older brother to go to the house and remember what he said to his parents. Brother, don't leave the house no matter what happens. I will bring Maya here very quickly. Don't let the brothers speak and leave at full speed. On the first day, most animals mutated. Very few humans mutated. But the village school, where many people gather, will collapse faster than the village. If Xiaomin stays in school, there's no way. I absolutely wouldn't lose any family member. At that moment, while driving, he ran over a dog, but it got up without a scratch. The mutation had started. An hour ago at school, they were talking about the actions his brother had taken. They recorded them, and they went viral on social media. About selling the cattle, it must be painful for his little sister to have such a crazy brother. But it is said that the girl fell in love with the boy from the firework factory, who's from the Link family. This show must be crazy. Perhaps your whole family is, am I wrong? Even your parents let him do whatever he wants, and I show him the video. Your family is full of crazies. She's very angry and throws his phone away. He picks it up and wants to continue making fun of her, but he hadn't realized it was the girl's plan to have the teacher confiscate the phone because of the school's regulations. Since it's not the first time they took it from him, now his parents must come to pick it up, and he apologizes with a vengeful look. I didn't know the teacher was on the way. I'm sorry. After a while, the girl with whom all the trouble is happening stands in front of her with some kind of weapon, wanting to open her mouth since she doesn't want to apologize, but she starts spitting blood from her mouth. Too much blood. The girl gets scared and goes to ask for help, but she finds a disaster. Everyone is running. She doesn't know what happened when she is attacked by this monster. The girl manages to crouch, and it passes over her. The girl who was with her had already turned, so she is going to attack her. Just then, her brother arrives with a super incredible flying kick. He mocks, "It's so embarrassing to hear your screams from far away, so I rushed to save you, my little sister." With one swift move, he beheads the zombie monster next to her. After a while, there are many zombies and many people on the road. The protagonist drives his truck and runs over them without a problem. His sister can't believe it, but before being scared, she's excited about what she's seeing. This is like a zombie game. It feels so real. It's also amazing that you kicked that person. Her brother calms her. That's enough. If you want to cry, go ahead. I won't laugh at you this time. I understand this can be tough for you. The world has changed a lot. There will be more zombies than humans. We all have to learn to adapt and survive. Don't worry. Your big brother will protect you. Everything will be fine with our family, I promise you. Her sister gave him a grateful smile. I believe in you, brother. They have arrived at the house. They are back. Did something happen at home? Well, right now there are people screaming outside. Both my father and mother and I are afraid to go out or even look outside. It's calm now, though it's very strange. In the previous life, only 3 to 5 people disappeared, and they became mutants. They are afraid of sunlight. On the second day, we have enough time to prepare for the fight, but given the current situation, survival tonight might be difficult. My brother wants to know why I bought so many resources. He wonders why it seems like we're about to go to war. I will explain later. Parents, you need to quickly bring all the things from the vehicle to our home no matter what happens. Protect our home. I have to go find someone and will return very soon. My sister tells me to stay calm and listen to my brother. He seems a bit different. In school, Xiaomi's intuition was correct. His body underwent some changes. Let's use this opportunity to check it out. This situation is unfamiliar. If I can find those people, and if she still has the same abilities as in the previous life, it will be of great help. We're going to another place where there are several people trying to close the doors that others are trying to open. We couldn't find that girl, who is trying to keep all those who want to enter away. They are upset about losing their family members and haven't found her yet. But why do they panic and try to bite them? The workers want them to open the door, they have weapons, and they want to fight. The girl steps back and sees everyone coming but defeated on the ground. It's the protagonist who quickly arrived at this place. The girl looks at him, and with a single motion, the protagonist decapitates one of the zombies. The protagonist grabs him with his muscular chest. Luckily, the blood of the zombies doesn't stain his eyes or mouth. After the apocalypse, Xiao Binbing lost his sharp gaze. In my previous life, my body was covered with wounds, scratches, or bites from those things, but not from humans. The other person thinks he has killed someone, but the protagonist reveals that he hasn't killed anyone. These people are not human. They have turned into zombies. If you get their blood on you, you'll become like them. The person doesn't believe the protagonist's information and keeps accusing him of being a killer. Look, whom did you kill? This is serious. We must call the police to handle this, he says, but it's futile. Then, another guy appears and says that the protagonist killed all those people and doesn't want to call the police. They should capture him. The protagonist can't believe it, but the girl is the only one defending him. The others keep talking, but she says it's enough. If they distrust him so much, why don't they follow him to prove that he knows where all the family members are? Especially you, follow me. If you doubt me so much, the guy becomes thoughtful. It's quite strange. In the morning, he collected so many human resources from the village and even accumulated a lot of gunpowder. Something so strange happened tonight. No matter what happened, this guy must die. Suddenly, so many men disappeared in the village, and there's an inaccessible place nearby suitable for hiding something. It's just that Lingi forest. He insists that the ones he killed aren't zombies. So why doesn't he come with him to check it out? Or is he afraid? He's a normal person, of course. I'd be afraid of a killer like you. But for the safety of the villagers, and to find out the whereabouts of the missing people, I will go with you. But I need to bring some people I trust. It doesn't matter, really. But the girl doesn't want to leave me alone, and doesn't want you to go. The village secretary is not in that place. We will take over the village secretary's responsibilities. Where did he go today? That's why we keep receiving information about missing villagers. He was worried about the villagers and went with others to search for people, but he never came back until now. More people are joining him to go to the place the protagonist mentioned. They offer him a vehicle key to move faster to that location. They arrived at that place in the village secretary's vehicle. From the engine's temperature, some time should have passed since he left his vehicle. They try to call him, but they cannot reach him. In their past life, the first wave of deaf zombies happened 3 days later. I remember that the zombie horde came from here, but there wasn't enough workforce to investigate the source. If everything unfolds like in the past life, we can eliminate this zombie horde before it grows worse. And most importantly, I can have confidence, said Bing Bing. We are in the right place. They should keep walking and look for him. There are several people in this vast forest that we can't even see anyone at this hour. At that moment, the protagonist notices a trail. Many footprints, broken branches, and bloodstains. This means that not long ago, there were people here. This is the typical phenomenon where zombies gather during the apocalypse. It is the first day of the zombie mutation disaster. The protagonist has found a cave and enters alone, but the other person doesn't let him. He probably wants to go in to destroy evidence that he is a liar and a killer. "You're a coward who talks a lot. Come in with me. I guess inside, it's full of corpses." The protagonist thinks he wants to kill him inside, but then a woman comes out of the cave. The protagonist realizes it immediately and yells at him not to touch her, but he gets bitten. The protagonist manages to save him. She's no longer the girl he knew. He can't believe it. He has killed his once promised wife. Now, he is a killer. "These people have brains in their heels, you murderer. You'll pay for this with your life." But the protagonist throws him to the ground with a simple movement. "It's all right. If you're angry, it's all right. If you hate me, it's all right. If you regret it, it doesn't matter. How you feel now can't change the fact that she turned into a zombie. So I had to kill her. I just want to see that they are alive. Keep going, and don't die trying. She was your wife. If you had to kill someone you once loved, how would you react?" The protagonist remembers the bodies of his family from his past life. He becomes upset with an uncontrollable air and tells him that he was too kind. He came here only to answer his suspicions. He saved his life over and over, and this is how he's paid. Anyone who dares to touch any of his family members will be killed by him. Everyone tries to stop him. This guy takes the opportunity to call him a murderer, and that's how he's exposed, but someone arrives and stops him with a headbutt. It's his older brother. He has finally awakened. He was very worried. "You were outside for a long time, so I had no choice but to go look for you." This guy cries. It's his fault and apologizes. He couldn't protect anyone. He feels deeply sorry. The older brother orders him to stand up. "You should know. The situation is like this. You know in your heart that my brother did the right thing. In fact, he saved your life. But understand his feelings. If you want to hate someone, hate me. We still have to face reality and move forward. You are the official of our village, and many people still need you. Extend a helping hand and we will fight together." My older brother remains the same, always so sharp, capable of caring for everyone's emotions. Though we are brothers, our personalities are completely opposite. My older brother has always been popular in the village and I don't have many friends. But no matter what happens, my older brother will still be here with me. This time, it's my turn to protect you. Suddenly, they hear screams coming from the cave. The protagonist alerts the others. Something strange is happening. Those screams are from the lackeys of that guy, mocking his cowardice. Then, something very strange happens. All the zombies, who have an army and carry the body of someone who recently entered the cave, throw the body at the guy in the middle. Everyone is surprised and doesn't know what's going on. They quickly rush out to attack, and the protagonist realizes that there are more zombies than expected. Even if he can escape, Xiao Bingbin and his brother can't. He tries to protect them, but his brother gets in the way and attacks. "Since when do you act so cool?" The protagonist doesn't understand how he can go on after such an attack. He tells him that the zombie's weak spot is the brain and sunlight. "It seems you're not rusty, right? You haven't forgotten our old strategy, have you? I attack first, and then you." The fight starts with the brothers' attack. The protagonist stops him until he decapitates them. One of them tries to bite, but with incredible agility, he kicks so that the protagonist's weapon beheads them. They fight fiercely together. These two people fight together. Everyone uses a flashlight to shine into their eyes and attack their heads. Be careful not to get bitten. After a while, they are exhausted. He has trained throughout his life, but this is insane. A professional fighter wouldn't have been able to defeat them without weapons. This is incredible. The brothers are united in this. "When did you become so strong?" the protagonist says to his brother. "Call me older brother, and I can teach you." The girl asks for their mercy, and the protagonist goes to see the others, who are worried. One of them has been bitten. What should they do? Are there more? And will they turn into those things, right? But when they look for the leader to find a solution, he is hiding behind a tree. The protagonist sneaks up behind him, and it's not a ruse. He's lucky, isn't he? "Just keep hiding here and don't make a sound." And he leaves the place. They hear the voice of the village secretary. "What's happening? Save me. Save me again." It's definitely the voice of the secretary. The protagonist orders them to return. He will investigate with his brother. The brother won't leave him alone and says, "Of course, I'll come with you." The protagonist tells them to leave. It's dangerous to watch while they fight. They won't be able to help much and will only become a burden. What they should do now is go back and do what they need to do. They'll confirm the safety of the village secretary and then leave that place. They can't let more people die. He hopes to find the origin of the zombie horde that will emerge in a few days. Here, Bing will leave the survivors of the villages. They are on their way, not knowing if the secretary is still alive. The girl understands the concern because he was one of those who helped her when she arrived in the city and supported her with her studies. It's normal for her to be so worried about him. Even though the zombies came from here, how is it possible that they are alive? That scream was from someone who doesn't seem to be dead or bitten. Anyway, they have to continue. They will know the truth when the protagonist tells them to stop. There's a body missing part of its chest and a part of its arm. This is strange. It's different from the previous zombies. This one turned into a corpse. Why did it appear here? This hole is intriguing to those brothers. Look, there's a person in that place. It's the village secretary. He asks them to save him, but when he turns around, it's revealed that he's very hungry and attacks them with tentacles. They manage to dodge them. They have incredible speed. The protagonist jumps in the middle of the attacks, avoiding everything, and takes him down, but his skin is too tough. He's a mutated zombie. He delivers a blow, and the brother uses it against him. They both run and manage to escape from that place. What the hell was that? It's a mutated zombie. This change is usual because humans get infected with animals. In rare cases, the combination of two DNA causes a mutation. The mutated zombie is much stronger than the normal ones and has abilities. This mineral cave probably contains mutated bats. The secretary's form seems to be a second-rank mutation of a bat. This zombie is difficult to handle in the dark, but they fear the light. Luckily, the external light is strong enough. I feel that this monster wouldn't dare to come out. Brother, you're disgusting studying. Since when did you become a zombie expert? Don't novels and comics have this kind of setting? I think real-world zombies will be more or less the same. Let's go tomorrow. Once we are equipped with weapons, we'll kill this monster. Suddenly, many bats fly out of that place, forming a gigantic cloud covering part of the moon. Then, tentacles appear. I don't know how to call this. Sorry. The protagonist and the brother realize it. The creature launches itself like a projectile and targets the brother. He's hit, and the flashlight breaks. The protagonist looks at that thing and grabs it with his hands. He stops its movement with the brother's help. The protagonist tries to bite him, but the brother puts his arm in the way. The creature is frustrated. It's too strong. If only they had a powerful light. Just then, the girl arrives in a high-speed vehicle, telling them to leave that place. She crashes the monster into a tree. Sorry, I meant it instead of zombie. It can't take it anymore and dies. The protagonist jumps on top of it and stabs it with a knife to ensure its death, as it should be. The girl can't believe what kind of zombie it was. When she realizes it, it's the village secretary. The protagonist apologizes, feeling sorry, but the village secretary died a long time ago. That's just an evil spirit occupying his body. Let's go with the brother, of which they are fortunately interrupted. The vehicle was driven back to save us. Otherwise, we both would have died. Here, brother. You don't even say thank you. How do you picture a girl in the future, big brother? Oh, sorry, brother. I was careless, and it bit me. I'm sorry. Please take care of our family for me. You, more than anyone else, should know how to take care of, and should know what to do from now on, brother. Goodbye, our protagonist is devastated. He can't believe this is happening to me again. I had a great second chance to start anew, but I can't even protect my brother now. The outbreak is very angry, has a lot of frustration, takes a knife in his hand, and looks at the mutated zombie. He begins to unleash his anger against him. The others want to stop him, but despite his loss, the protagonist is looking for something the zombies have under them, and that's what attracts the zombies. The mutant zombie, and that object, is condensed, the core of the zombie crystal on the back of the protagonist's head. He goes to his brother, who still has no symptoms and still has a chance. This is the same origin as the virus assembly in your body if you eat it. Now you have the chance to become a psychic and become immune to the zombie virus. However, there's a chance to turn into a zombie like the one you just saw. The protagonist is surprised. He ate it without saying a word. He should have told him all that before, wasting his feelings with those words. How long will the effect take? Within 2 days, the results should be visible. The brother goes into that hole. If he doesn't come out of that hole in 2 days, they have to close it. But if he becomes psychic, he doesn't want him to get jealous. The protagonist is filled with hope and smiles as he says goodbye to his brother. "I'll wait for you here, brother." He has no other choice but to equip himself at home. His brother tries to cheer him up, but the protagonist is already awake. "Why are you like this?" he asks. "Well, you said we needed to be prepared. I just made this armor." The protagonist uses only one finger to push it. "What will you do with that? You'll roll away when a zombie comes." He takes it to the garden, kicking it. The girl reaches a wall, and there's her father, who lunges at her and kicks her to keep rolling. Her father was excited. Where did he get so much gunpowder from? He asks for one of those babies and takes it away running. The protagonist goes to his mother, who is training. Everyone is crazy. They should go eat somewhere else because this is crazy. But when he opens the door, she wants to ask for their help, and her mother approaches, lets her in. "I'm sorry to bother you, but I came to ask for help from our protagonist," says the girl. The village committee organized the villagers to strengthen their defenses. The work has gone well. However, after contacting the regional police last night, we have not received any news. Even this morning, the signal was lost. The protagonist checks his phone. It's strange. That didn't happen in his previous day. This isn't normal. He worries that the lack of information might make them miss the opportunity to be rescued. So, I'd like to ask you to accompany me to the county to try to contact the outside world. I'm really sorry. It's clear that something like this happened to Brother Joshua yesterday, and now he's coming, asking me to accompany him. But he's the best person I know, and the one who opens up the most about this monster issue. He has to go to that area and find out what happened to him. That's his duty. That's why he'll do anything now, willing to be hated and insulted by you without complaining. I just hope you can help me," says the mother. The protagonist tells her it's okay. There's nothing more to talk about. "If it weren't for you, my silly yesterday, not me, wouldn't have come back alive. Today's problem has nothing to do with you. It's his own decision. Son, come with me, please. Wait for us here for a moment." The protagonist doesn't know what he's going to talk about, but he just wants to protect and take care of his son. So he gives him a piece of paper. "Be careful with this sword because you hurt me with one the other time. Go ahead, do what you have to do, and come back in one piece." At that moment, we don't go with the brother, who is in the cave, heard some steps, and thinks it might be his brother, but it's not. He wouldn't dare to come when he has a liquid next to him. It's gasoline, and this whole place explodes. The two go on their way, listening to music and singing. The protagonist knows she's nervous, so he can't stop singing, even though she hasn't had the necessary development. But definitely, if it's the same girl he used to know in his previous life, there are many possibilities. And he can't trust the experiences of previous lives. His senses are not ready to deal with zombies. He can't let anything happen to her, so the protagonist suggests she come and live with him. "In the future, Red Girl, because you want me to come to your house." "Well, yes," he says. She wouldn't believe that she woke up supernatural powers in her previous life. Forget it. It's better if she doesn't know anything. It's just because she needs it. How romantic. He can't let anything happen to her. At that moment, the girl is blushing a lot. Even I am. But the protagonist realizes that there's an obstacle on the road. The fact that the road to the city is inaccessible will make it difficult to get supplies in the future. They must return to the village and then figure out what to do in this situation. That's all they can do while the protagonist drives back. The supplies in the house will last for a while. He has a bad feeling about what is happening. In that moment, he steps on a thorn mine, loses control of the vehicle, but manages to regain control, and the situation doesn't escalate further. When he gets out to see what's happening, he realizes it's an ambush, but he doesn't know who could have done this. Suddenly, the man he did business with for the explosives appears. The protagonist didn't expect him to have met with his secretary so quickly, which makes him jealous. "What do you want? You killed many of my brothers last night," the man says, adding that he has to seek revenge, as it should be. The protagonist tells him that he first needs to go look for the zombies of his friends, as that's what they turned into. From what he could see, the man is a coward. He shoots at him, but he misses, or at least he thinks so, as she is the kind of person who seems to enjoy making others suffer, just like him. He must go after his loved ones. Besides, he also blew up the cave where his brother was, as he lacks the courage to kill him. This angers the protagonist, who is about to attack, but then he gets his arm torn off. It's a second-level zombie wolf. At the protagonist's house, his sister is worried as he hasn't arrived yet. Then, someone calls his brother to inform him that he's not there. This makes him look at the column, and when he uses his phone, he receives an order from the zombies that are coming to that address. Back to the man. He is resigned to the fact that he will have to die, but he feels satisfied because the protagonist will also die. The wolf attacks him, but the protagonist is fast enough to put him out of action. Fortunately, it's getting dark, and the zombie wolf isn't strong enough to fight. If it had been nighttime, Xiao Ming and he would undoubtedly be dead. "We have to kill them before sunset," the man says. At that moment, they hear some roars. It's a horde of zombies coming in their direction. But why is he still alive? The village official was the source of the zombie wave because they keep coming. It's possible that the official from the neighboring village is the source. Then, he's attacked again by the wolf, and the protagonist doesn't know what happened to the wound. But this wolf has a regeneration ability, and the wolf is about to eat him. But we go back to the cave, where his brother has come out with a red aura. Back to our protagonist. The wolf has bitten him, which shouldn't be possible. But he feels a familiar and strange aura covering his whole body, and with some swift movements, he kills the wolf. The girl can't believe it. There's a tranquil rain of blood. "I'm here with the sharing and activated," the girl says, happy that he's all right. Although he's a bit hurt, she is not surprised at all. It's because she subconsciously thought that being clumsy would solve all his problems. Though the protagonist doesn't know why suddenly his strength is awakening, and his psychic powers, in his previous life, he never heard of a case where relying on a crystal core would awaken psychic abilities. The protagonist tells her to prepare to run as they are surrounded by zombies. The boy remembers that he has a bullet in his leg and tells her to hold on to him. The way might be a bit rough. The boy carries her on his shoulders and runs quickly. He jumps and sees the city in the distance, with many zombies. If they stay and fight, they might get hurt. But then there's an explosion. It's his sister and father who have come to rescue them. They are fleeing from the zombie horde. They throw Molotov cocktails. The sister is excited, and the father also. They throw a super big bomb and explode most of them. The sister is super excited. The protagonist remembers that there's a first aid kit under the seat. He takes it to treat her wound, but the sister takes it from him. Her feet are something you can't touch casually, as they have a special relationship he doesn't understand. This girl is a crack, he thinks. She wants a new girl to talk to at home. "Dad, how's the situation at home?" he asks. The father reassures him that the zombies haven't entered the village yet. The father has many explosives. When he was young, he was obsessed with explosives and studied them every day. Later, when he started working in the mine, he became the blasting expert on the team. Unfortunately, after emptying the mountain mine, he no longer had dynamite to play with. He wanted to download some firecrackers to play, but your mom took care of that. Too bad, thinks the boy. He remembers that the kitchen exploded last year. "So it was you all this time," he says. When they arrive at the house, they hear their mother and some strange noises, but they can't get in. The door is locked. When the protagonist breaks it open, they find that their mother has someone by the neck. "Mr. Chanda from the neighboring village! Long time no see!" Everyone is scared, and the mother, with her pan, appears. From out of nowhere, it took her by surprise. Do you think you won't have to give it back to me afterwards? So the last time you played cards, you still owe me 500 yuan. Your son went to college and gave him a gift of 600 yen. When my older son went to college, you didn't even bother to fix your hair to give it to him. You're still gossiping about our family. Do you want to fight with me?" The protagonist doesn't know when his mother became so strong. She has always been able to fight. When she was young, she was the leader of the 10 miles and 8 villages. It's a real fight. 3 or 5 men couldn't face her, but she's much more relaxed since she met me. That's when your mother forced me to marry her. The mother throws the shame-faced pan at her, and she is the one who trusted me and back then, and hits her with that pan, and you show off because you broke my door. Look at what I'm going to do to you later. The girl saves him. Don't blame your son. He was just worried about you. The mother calms down. She was just joking. Please don't take me seriously. Your aunt is very good at talking. Haha, no. After what she did to the zombie, even I got scared at that moment. A climbing zombie is coming over the wall, and they hit it right away. They should stop talking. Many zombies are coming towards us. The protagonist gets upset, uses his new ability, and only thinks about killing. In his last life, the outbreak was so sudden that all the family members were killed unprepared. Now the whole family is on alert and won't give the zombies another chance to take advantage of the situation. And now he's not alone. He has the full support of the family. This time they will be unable to handle this safely. There's a group of men and our protagonist is ready for action. The zombies aren't advancing, but it's because they went to get some weapons to confront them. These zombies are smart. They want to start attacking. He seems surprised. What are they going to do? It's a siege. Those zombies must be controlled by someone. When the protagonist realizes it, even in death, he wants revenge. All the zombies are surrounding his house. The father doesn't understand what's happening. Everyone defends themselves as best they can, but they've run out of dynamite. They're surrounded, each of the family members. The protagonist realizes that it's a tactic, so he'll take care of everything himself. Then, all the zombies launch themselves at his body, but he eliminates them with incredible strength, using his Buddhist blood, body protection, and power breaker abilities. The Buddhist blood ability is much weaker, but as long as he has the power to protect his family, nothing else is more important. There's nothing to fear from these zombies. It's the people who control them that should be feared. Catch the most problematic ones first. The protagonist is surrounded by zombies, as is the family. The mother and the girl are also fighting, taking care of each other. The sister and the father are calm. They've just seen their brother pierce through the zombies as if he were a superhuman. Don't worry, everything will be fine. 3 Doritos later, there's an explosion behind the girl, of her sister, who pierced through the wall and sent them all running as fast as they can. He finds himself fighting a bear. That's not good at all. But he remembers his past and won't let anything happen to his family again. So he starts asking for more and more power. His family is scared of what he's doing. Then, from the elevated position, he doesn't launch a final attack. But his older brother arrives and stops him, blocking the attack with just one hand. He apologizes for arriving late. The protagonist is glad. He spent some time on the back mountain to acclimate to this new power. Look at this power. This is how it works. And he gives him a good blow that sends him quite far away. This giant hamster has a pretty thick skin. Let me read this to me, and you do what you have to do, brother. He breaks everyone. There were countless nights when he woke up from the nightmare. That made him hate this infernal world and the fact that he was helpless. In that life, he gained a lot of strength. Lingy is surprised that he's still alive. Even though I'm not Lincoln, he's dead. I'm a new me, someone who's been liberated from his inferior human body. Look at him, half zombie, half human. Not only does he maintain an independent consciousness, but he can also control the group of zombies. That's the king of the last times. Thanks to you, I've dismembered the zombie wolf and turned it into a piece of meat because that wolf crystal core can be used for thinking for a while. How to repay you. And in the end, I decided to kill you. But in that moment, as he finishes the sentence, the protagonist is in front of him making a cut. He can't believe it, but the prota tells him that he's still the same coward. And speaking of coward, he always has been. And that's how he wants to be the king. And in this way, he has supposedly killed him. The prota thinks that this way, the pressure on the zombie order that the older brother faces should be reduced after this wave of zombies ends. In that moment, he's interrupted. Hey! Seriously, your sword can't kill me. How unfortunate for you, you can't kill me. I've inherited the regenerative power of the zombie wolf. This one moves super fast. They're similar, it's our time. Leave it to me. The corpses will be our soldiers. The flesh and blood will be our fruits, and humans will be our cattle. That's why he's collected the zombies to help him get rid of the inferior bloodlines that surround him. Do you like my gift back? In that moment, we see his parents with the 2 friends trying to handle all the zombies. They have to stop them. Resist until their 2 children manage to solve this problem. When it clashes against the bear's barrel, it was very difficult to overcome. Its skin is very thick, causing many problems. It's better to use it to block this passage, but the zombies keep coming. The question is whether they have to go help their brother, but it's not the case. Their brother has much more potential and is stronger, although it doesn't seem like it because he has him pinned to the ground. They are giving him a beating. He is transforming indeed. I'm really disappointed in you. That's all you can do, but bow before me and I'll forgive you for everything you've done. However, the protagonist quickly gets up and tries to attack, but the other looks down at him. Putting your sword against the king. The protagonist makes an incredible cut, which leaves everyone speechless, not to mention the fact that you dared to show your teeth to my family. The only thing he has to do is kill you. The engine, you really are a shame. So he'll have to kill him since he doesn't fear him. He moves very fast and attacks him. Not only has his speed increased, but also his strength, and with that attack, the bro's arm starts to bleed. The Buddhist blood gas, protecting the body, couldn't block it. He doesn't understand, even though the other mocks him. Not bad, you can dodge all his strength. He thought he could see the colors of his attempt with that claw. Although his physical strength is diminishing too quickly, the condition of the Buddhist blood was almost unsustainable. The next blow will decide the winner of this fight. This enemy looks very fast. Are you trying to deceive me? And with a swift move, he pierces our protagonist. At that moment, a bomb explodes, and the whole place is confused. A bomb with this little fire. Do you want to burn me to death? He escaped. Indeed, he escaped. The smell of blood on your body is as strong as you might think. He can still rise. Wait for him to catch up and kill you, wretches. The protagonist managed to reach a store, and the bleeding has barely stopped. I didn't know that Buddhist blood has the ability to heal, but there's not much energy left. He only has this opportunity. So the gasoline bomb didn't have good taste in choosing your grave. Do you know why? Even when there's no shortage of food, I feel the fear, helplessness, and desperation of my prey. Once they are overwhelmed by the thought, they realize that everything was useless. This is very exciting. Let me see. Gasoline, hidden chain, Molotov cocktail. Do you think I would follow the blood trail to a store and fall into a trap like this? In fact, the bloodiest place is here. Look, a jacket. The protagonist appears in front of him and throws white powder in his face. This makes him feel a lot of pain. What are you doing? Get out, you can't see him. It's no wonder that now you can't smell anything and can't see anything. The strength of the zombie wolf has been enhanced in you, and you've also inherited its weaknesses. A wolf's nose has over 200 million cells and can distinguish 10,000 different smells. The abundance of olfactory nerves also means that he can't tolerate the contact of such irritants with the nasal cavity. This is even more painful for you, right? The common people who think they can detect traps tend to let their guard down. If he claims to be a king but was no different from Link, Jane, I'll kill you. You won't have this chance. He attacks, but the protagonist easily dodges it. Think about how the elder brother did it. Gather the energy of Buddhist blood and concentrate it in your hands. The protagonist makes an incredible attack with his power and uses cut. After that, it seems he cannot drain your vitality. So the king is really born within you, but the trap has already begun. He says that the king won't die, but the protagonist looks at him and says, the Molotov cocktails won't kill you either. Then he thought of trying it, using the underground storage tank at the gas station. I can send you to the sky with the coffin I prepared for you. Goodbye. At that moment, the elder brother and father exchange looks. There's an incredible explosion, and the dawn has arrived. The wave of zombies has stopped and begins to retreat. Everyone is happy. They did it. Then we follow the protagonist, and a girl comes out from there and attacks him, but she faints right away. The girl indicates to him that the brother is a pervert. How can you take off this girl's clothes on the street? I just wanted to check if King had been bitten. It was too risky to bring home a normal-looking survivor. Countless people have been killed because of this situation. We need to be careful. It's not possible. And I haven't been wearing a shirt either, which is quite fair. It wouldn't make you look more like a pervert. Fortunately, I was the first to find out, so you can stop. Otherwise, it would be really bad if Sister Bimmy saw you. What's wrong with being seen by her, Likshin? She's fine. I've checked her. I think her mental and physical energy is exhausted, so she may wake up after a short rest. He thanks her for her help, but in reality, it was him who did all the work to save them and keep them safe. Sometime later, the ones who helped with the zombies are leaving. They will go first since there's a bit of danger during the day. They go to the village to see if there are any survivors. After all, it's also the responsibility of their village committee to ensure everyone's safety. The protagonist shouts, "You don't have to blame yourself. The zombie wave can't block us with worries." With the power we have, we can't save everyone. But the most important thing is that we must keep on living. She gets emotional and looks at him. The elder brother is happy. Finally, his little brother has advanced. If the ending is different this time, what are you talking about? I mean, your emotional intelligence, well, it doesn't matter. Just, in the end, I didn't say it. The protagonist gets into his vehicle, and they leave. And these two are responsible for disposing of the corpses. They go to the forest, where they burn all the bodies. Those mutated bodies should be incinerated. Otherwise, animals might eat them and mutate. Now you can go home and sleep well. And if you drive the car, don't forget to wash it at the gas station. Otherwise, this car won't be usable in the future. They argue about why they have to wash the car. Well, he's the older brother. They had an old game. Old rules. Right now, I'm sure you can still defeat me. Someday, I scared you with the Ghostbusters game. The rules are simple. Ghost hunters stay still for 10 seconds, and the ghost takes the opportunity to escape. If you find a ghost within 3 minutes, the ghost hunter wins, and all they have to do is move as fast as they can without getting touched. The protagonist starts running while the brother counts down. They play with their powers, and the brother tries to catch him, but he dodges. They play quite rough for it to be a game, as the older brother throws a log, but both stop it. The strength they exert is incredible. They keep pushing, but the tree breaks. The older brother worries, not knowing where his little brother is, but he sees debris. 3 minutes have passed, and this time, it was the ghost who won. When he climbed up there just now, while leaning against the cliff wall, he tried to escape from that force just in time. He had a great idea of what they could do. He ate the crystal core, gaining a flashy ability. He also ate the bear zombie's crystal core. Well, something like that. Even though my previous self ate it, the competition they had before resulted in the effect of his ability becoming a borrowed power. In other words, just because he can use my power doesn't mean he has the same capacity. It can be interpreted that way. Big brother, your ability is called Blood Buddhist. The effect of Blood Buddhist is to enhance your strength, speed, and other attributes. There is also a layer of blood energy that protects against most physical damage. From what I saw, you have about 70% of his ability. Not only that, you seem to be able to understand the specific value of your ability. The brother doesn't get it. It's not one of those truth games. It's not the same. It's just a natural feeling. He can only measure it. Let me see. If the average adult's ability is 20, your strength and agility are 90, and your intelligence is still 0. Well, it's still 0. The way you fought against me and the stake you were using seemed pretty stupid. Haha. By the way, he put the bear zombie's crystal core in the drawer of his room. It might be useful to take it with you in the car someday. We'll do it together. We'll calm down, letting people with mental illnesses go alone. There's someone listening. The two brothers in the night. The protagonist is resting when they enter his room. It's his sister who searched for the core, thinking of eating it. She's happy because it's time to have superpowers. Our protagonist is doing the culture work because his mother ordered him to do it, as he has to create his own food now. So to avoid getting angry or getting beaten up, he prefers to do it without any problem. Then, the girl he saved before appears. She feels very sorry, brings him a drink, and wants to make peace with him to get his help in the future. But the protagonist tells her no. He did his part. He saved her life, and that was it. He did it because he wanted to protect his uncle. That's all. He wanted to protect the family. The girl understands and leaves. The protagonist hears the doorbell, and it's the boys who are in the city. The girl who was talking to the protagonist comes out after taking a bath with her sister's clothes. They're too small for her. When they are all gathered, she informs them that there is no one left in the village. Well, it's a shame. Now they must act as one family, form a society to protect themselves from zombies, and support each other so they can grow as a family. Happy! Cheers to that! At that moment, the sister was sitting but hadn't touched her food. They notice that something is happening to her. Suddenly, her body starts to change, and the protagonist activates his brother's ability because, as we know, he can borrow powers. In that moment, the girl has red eyes and launches herself to attack everyone at the table. Remember that she had eaten the core, and we don't know if she will turn into a zombie or if she'll have some effect like her older brother did when her sister was biting him. But the protagonist is protecting himself. At this moment, everyone starts to worry. They want him to let go of our protagonist, but he tells them to wake the girl up, as she doesn't know what happened and feels very embarrassed. She asks her brother to save her, so he gives her a good scolding. The drink she had consumed didn't agree with her, and she even vomited. That was the excuse she gave her parents for taking her outside to get some fresh air. Everyone continues eating, not worrying about it. The brother takes her outside and gives her a good scolding. "How dare you eat a core? You are lucky. You won't always be that lucky, girl." But she wanted a skill. If she hadn't felt the ability of that soot from the beginning, it would have really surprised her. She has no choice but to teach her how to use her ability. Close your eyes and feel. You must think of the power like a current of air that fills your whole body. The ability is already a part of our body. It's instinct. Now use this new ability to sense this world. Now tell me, what have you seen? I've seen life flowing. It seems like you can control the flow using your power. Little by little, plants are growing at an incredible speed. You've created plants. From what I can see, I had guessed the result. The protagonist also uses his sister's ability. We already know that she is a druid, and he takes out the potatoes she had planted in the morning before worrying. As for how to solve the problem of rationing, with this ability, he definitely won't have to worry about fruits and vegetables. The sister is angry. Her ability will be used for agriculture. Originally, she thought it would shoot rays, flames, wind and rain attacks, transform into a magical girl. But instead, she ended up being a farmer. The protagonist is thoughtful. Both he and his sister had their awakening after eating the core. This can't be a coincidence. It feels as if all of this is related to their abilities. The next day, the rooster crows, but the protagonist comments that he writes that hens and the rooster are small. Originally, they wanted them to have chicks. A few years ago, when the village farm had a shortage of labor, the village committee asked them to wait for a while. When they left, the farm owner gave them a pair of roosters and hens, and they've been raising them since then. The protagonist remembers that the farm is very close by, and he will go with them to the farm to see what they can find. Their goal this time is to capture some cattle and bring them back, as well as bring back some incubatable eggs. There are many corpses that will suddenly mutate and turn into zombies. But as it seems that this person was stabbed to death with a very sharp weapon, the protagonist calms down. You don't have to worry. Zombies don't come out during the day. You just shouldn't go to the basement where sunlight can't enter. We don't know what the situation is outside. Will it be the same as in our village? Humans have high-tech weapons. Maybe there will be people here soon to save us. Not everyone has high expectations. What's frightening isn't the zombies, but the virus. The disaster the virus brings to the world goes far beyond what we can imagine. What can we rely on? It's just us. In that moment, one of them gets a lot of eggs to see how to hatch them, as the protagonist knows nothing about it. No problem. As long as the temperature meets the requirements, you can manually achieve hatching, but it's rare to only see eggs. Where is the cattle? In that moment, they see a goose peeking out. At the door, this boy takes off the jacket where he works. Before, they taught him how to handle the geese. He just needs to grab them by the wings and bring them close to the body so that they stay submissive. The boy turns to tell them that it was too easy, but at that moment, the goose opens its mouth wide and turns to devour him. The protagonist moves quickly and sends it flying far away. Then when they come out, there are plenty of geese. Brother Juan and Uncle Vaca are running too slowly. They can't get rid of these mutant cattle at all, and it seems they're running out of energy. He tries to use his sister's power and creates a wall of branches, but that only stops them for a moment. They can escape, but when they turn around, there are mutants ahead as well. They are all surrounded with no other choice, and they are doomed. The protagonist thinks fast and instructs them to run to that dormitory building. They manage to enter, but they are very tired, now trapped. They know there is no escape, and they are already condemned, but the protagonist feels guilty. Of course, it's not his fault. His carelessness caused them all to get trapped. Now he will bring everyone back safely, he promises that he will. If he uses all his power to circulate the Buddhist blood and gets rid of these two adult men, he doesn't know if he can handle those mutants. If his energy runs out, he will die. Then someone tells the protagonist that there is a computer available. The estate still has electricity. Everything is connected. Maybe there's a way. And at that moment, they start pounding on the door. The protagonist tries to hold them back. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but you have to do it quickly. That door won't last long, they only need 5 minutes, but the door won't hold. He has to take the initiative and attack. The protagonist smashes the door frame and crushes several monsters with his brother's power. He looks at the other monsters and uses them as a shield before delivering a powerful blow. The old man urges the boy. The protagonist can't hold on any longer, but he just needs him to release something and it will all end. All those bodies, these animals have merged, and the protagonist doesn't know what's happening. He attacks with incredible power, and the protagonist defends himself against the wall. The power is incredible. There is no match for the Buddhist blood. The protagonist falls to the floor. The old man wants to defend and stop him, but the protagonist gets up. "Old man, I told you I'd let you live. Back to the house." The sprout has combined the two powers. This feeling, this vibrant vitality, and the destructive power of fire are constantly intertwined. The feeling around is telling him that he can definitely win. With an impressive attack, the protagonist has cleared a path. With that incredible attack, it's all over now. With that attack, he spent all his energy, he can't even move. At that moment, some monsters are coming. He needs to move fast, but his body is numb from the attack. Suddenly, music starts playing through the speakers, and the protagonist is one step away from killing himself. When they hear this music, all the monsters run away. The boy goes out to see how everyone is, and those mutants are left alone. What was that transmission? What was that? As he expected, that music was useful. He used that computer to hack into the transmission system and played the music. The music sounds like it's feeding time, and that's why the cattle, once they hear it, instinctively return to the feeding area. Unfortunately, they arrive just in time. They survived that crisis. He never wants to go back to that place again. They are on their way. They don't know when he grabbed the eggs, but this indicates to him that it was just when they went to catch the gas, and she took advantage of it. Don't you think they might become mutants since they have been there for about a week? The protagonist is sitting in the back, thinking about what just happened and the attack he just made at the protagonist's house. His sister is giving certain instructions to assign tasks to some groups. In the name of the Commander-in-Chief show, she would like to review the future combat plan. Everyone should take note. First, the security team will be responsible for patrolling around the base and building the protection facility. As for the selected commanders, the Chief Shou, the older brother and brother Huan, they will be in charge of the next agricultural and livestock group, responsible for raising, cultivating, and breeding livestock. Uncle Nu and his Grace are in charge of them, knowing how to plant crops with magic. Now, for the resources and integration group, they will be responsible for statistics and distribution of materials and proposing resource planning. His mother and his sister Liquin will be in charge of them. Finally, the exploration group will be responsible for searching for nearby resources, materials, and detecting nearby situations. The eye is the symbol of the base. Brother Yuxu and Sister Bing will be in charge. After that, everyone started their own preparations. The combat meeting is ready. The protagonist is preparing to leave. Weapons, bottles, first aid medicines. The mistakes on the farm cannot be repeated for the second time. At that moment, the girl comes and hugs him from behind. She wants to leave with him. The protagonist doesn't know why, but it's because of the protagonist's sister. She knows a safe place in the village and wants to be with him. The resources there will be enough for the two of them. If it's just the two of them, they will definitely survive until the rescue comes. They can do whatever he wants. He can even satisfy him in every way, including everything he wants. What an offer. Don't worry about anyone else. But the protagonist's look says it all, saying things like this to make me abandon my family. If you dare to say it again, I will kick you out of here so you can survive on your own, because that's what a man does. And you're the one who abandoned me first. Haven't you forgotten about that, right? Anger got to him when the protagonist left the room. Bing is waiting and heard everything. The two of them are going to a beautiful place. It's a remote fishing place. Fishermen don't come here much. Who's the owner? Well, it's something funny. It's Lycan. Why do they hate each other so much? The girl asks. When she started school, she didn't like him because he's rich. She thought that all people should do what he wants just because he has money. But it's not like that. Mesa is sacred. Moreover, she excels in everything compared to those types of people. Later, Lycan and I got close. He decided to take Liquin away from me, and came to make me suffer many times. After he succeeded, she heard that Lingy humiliated her in public on purpose. Lycan did it to get revenge on him, but she doesn't care. She can be with whoever she wants. But she heard that the two of them are engaged. That's what she arbitrarily claims to adults. When she was in school, she clearly opposed puppy love. But once she left school, she got into a relationship. They're going to the basement. There's a freezer door. The girl doesn't know how the protagonist knows this place. The protagonist had heard him talk about it, so he came to try his luck. In his past life, during the outbreak of the zombie horde, he stumbled upon this place by chance. They relied on the resources here. They lasted a long time, but when they came here, the power was cut off. Fortunately, he managed to turn on the power again with his backup power source in time to keep the fresh food from spoiling. This time, there won't be a power outage because of the First Order. Things have changed in the future. There will be survivors here. At that moment, the girls get scared.